Hello and welcome to Entrusted. I'm Susan Yurkowitz, and I'm so grateful that you're spending this time here with us where we're talking with people who are sharing their gifts and their talents to bring good into the world. And it's interesting because your talent might be your main gig, where that is what you're doing for work. It might be that you've got just a really a drive in your heart to do something good for others on a smaller scale. And that is, it could look like anything. There's artists, there's people who are good with math, there are people who are good with communications. It's across the board. Tonight, I'm so excited to introduce you to our first international guest. He's from the heart of South America in Bolivia. We have someone who is very good across the board in many areas, but I'm so excited to let you know what he's doing with youth tonight. And if you'll help me welcome to the show, Roberto Catacora. Welcome, Roberto.
Thank you, Susan. It's a blessing to be here. I'm really happy to be able to join some experiences with you.
Oh, well, I've heard some of your stories. I'm so excited for you to share them with our audience tonight. If you would start out, I know that you're working with youth, but in your own words, would you please tell us that what are you doing to help the youth in Bolivia?
Well, currently I lead a catechesis with hundreds of young people here in Bolivia from different schools. I'm truly convinced that I have been called to do this mission and that the talent God has given me is to communicate and to use pedagogy in order to share Jesus' words.
That's wonderful. How long have you been doing this kind of work with the catechesis? That's great. And for those of you, catechesis and special time with, would you say teenagers, or is it the
Yeah,
same?
they're teenagers, 15, 16, 17.
It
Yes.
takes a lot of special talent to work with that age group too. As a mother of seven kids, I can say. And you have three kids yourself, yes? Or
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Roberto, 24, Martine, 23, and Mariana, she's 16. She's going to become 16 actually in May. Yes.
Okay. And actually, I'll share. So this is how I met Roberto, is that our daughters over the summer have gone to the same summer camp for the last couple years, and they're meeting each other and becoming friends. They introduced us, their parents, and so this is how I got to hear some of Roberto's amazing stories. So how about, why don't we start with, could you tell us a little bit about how your journey and how you've gotten to this point in your life? Let us know too, if you would please, like what you do professionally and how that's kind of merged into you being able to do this in your off time, which I know you don't have a lot of time because you're a very busy individual.
Well, you just talked about my sons. My deep interest becoming closer to God actually began when I had my first son, who's now 24 years old, in my hands. Um, I understood that I wanted to be to have the very best for him, and above all, to protect him from life itself. And I believe that bringing him closer to God could be the best way to help him uh, into growing to be a good man. When my second son was born, the mission was the same. 9 years later, with Mariana's birth, that feeling grew even deeper. In other words, my sons and my daughter are my truly inspiration to get closer to God and to do something for other kids. Um, when I was 16 years old, I arrived in the United States. My parents are separated, and actually, I came to visit my mother with the intention of returning to Bolivia in 30 days. However, I had to stay by her side, sacrificing my last year of high school, and I had to start a new life far from my country. At that age, I had to take the role of the head of my household and be an example of my two other siblings. That was a big challenge because, like I was telling you off record, that I started when I was 18. I started a company in the U.S. and um, and that grew. Um, It's been almost 32 years now that I keep the company, and God gave me the ability to be an entrepreneur and to be able to really get the famous American dream. For me, it was my family more than anything about it.
Oh, that's great. So you moved to the United States when you were 18 years old,
16.
16 years old. Oh
By the
my.
age 18, I formed my own company right after
Wow.
graduating from high school. Yes, and that's the same company that I have now.
Okay. And so you, though you go, but you are in Bolivia as we speak, you are in Bolivia now. So you've gone
Yes,
back and forth or
I live between the U.S. and Bolivia, but I spend most of the time in Bolivia where Mariana is finishing her secondary school here. But I travel a lot to the U.S. to take care of my business. But I do work from this is my main office. It's where I conduct all my business from here. And yeah, we also have employees in other countries in Latin America, as well as in our headquarters in the US.
right. So, all right, your own children were your inspiration. I'm curious, did you have somebody modeling faith to you or mentoring you in your own faith as you were a teenager?
Well, if we go back to the story where everything begins, my mother had me when she was only 16 years old. She was a child. So my grandmother, Mami Dora, took a role of a mother. Uh, a year earlier, she had lost a 9-year-old son in a car accident.
Mm.
And she showed me, I guess, she saw me in the light of the ease of her sadness. She told me that she was very angry with God when she lost her son. But she reconciled with him when I was born. My name is Roberto Guido, my second name, and that's actually my middle name. And I have his name. And Mami Dora was a very constant spiritual guide and never stopped teaching me about the love of Jesus, especially the love of the Blessed Virgin Mary. She was
Mhm.
the key. Many times I would not put attention to her probably, but she was always there talking and talking to me about God, to Jesus, and take me to church. She wanted to be for me to be a truly Catholic. Um,
Mhm. Right. So was that, I imagine, having your faith must have been a huge help for you as you were moving at such a young age. And then, did you speak English when you first had to move to the United States?
no, not at all. I was very weak in communicating, so I had to learn English. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still learning.
And now that's part of what you do in your profession, in your businesses, is to help others with language. Is that
Correct. Yes. I I I lived the experience of not being able to communicate. So I created a school where um, foreigners, or especially Latin Americans, can, learn English and be able to communicate, get a better opportunity. And this business grew, and we have right now 4 locations in the Washington metropolitan area, and we serve as well other people in the United States through our
okay?
school online.
Is that difficult for you having to go back and forth between, does it feel like two very different cultures?
Well, it's amazing to be part of two worlds. I think you learn from one and the other. And I will say they're both amazing because you can experience different things um, and appreciate uh, when you are far from each other, what you mean. So I guess I bring the US to Bolivia through my experiences, and I bring Bolivia to the US.
I love that. That would
Yes.
also give you such, uh, I would feel a much more broad perspective on life, is seeing from different parts of the world and living. amongst different people of the world rather than if you've been in one place for a majority of your life.
Yes.
So I am curious. You've worked with teenagers in your own life and in Bolivia and in the United States. Would you say that teenagers are the same wherever, no matter the culture? I imagine maybe there's some similarities and some differences.
Actually, I was asked this question before, and I did a lot of thinking, and I was like, they're really very similar, you know. Young people today, they can say they have no self-control, they're always in bad mood, they lost respect for the elders, they don't know what education is, and lack of morality. But I'm not saying this myself. This was said by Aristotle 280 years before Christ. So in response to your question, I mean, it's just, I think uh, young people never change through, through the years. They're very similar, very, very similar. And I think we all go through that when we're young.
Yes. Now, you work in Bolivia. You had told me a little bit off record that while you're in Bolivia, you're working with students who are Bolivian students, and then you have some American students, and then you're also working with students who are they're from Germany or German speaking?
Well, this is a German school where it attends the Bolivian nationals here, teenagers, but there are, in both the schools, you have some Americans and you have some Germans, but the majority are Bolivian teens.
Okay.
Yeah. They do have descendants, especially in the German, because there was a lot of people that immigrated from Germany to Bolivia.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
Forward, yes.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're different cultures, uh, but uh, very similar, I would say.
Do they, would you say that they blend well? Do they, with their exposure to one another?
Yes, they actually, even though they're in different schools, there are activities, a lot of activities among teens here where they get together and they get to know each other. And they're since they're both schools receiving the catechism through my ministry, they really that was like a bridge for them as well to get to know each other.
So when you're working with them and teaching them about faith, are do you have students from all of those places together in the same classes? How does that work?
No, I go to one school one day, actually on Mondays to the American school. And then on Thursdays, I go to the German school. But when I travel, they have to get a Zoom, all of them, and they can get together, and see each other. And that's what they
That's
get, yeah, themselves.
No, that's great. And you and I have been talking about hopefully the potential of gathering some students from here, where I'm from in Erie, Pennsylvania, and bringing
Yes,
them together with your students just to give them a maybe a broader understanding of what it means to be part of the body of Christ. So I'm excited about that.
that is amazing. Actually, we did an activity last week about getting to know each other,
Mm.
finding things that are similar to each other, and they love that. We got them like for about 5 minutes. And what we do is we got together kids that they never talked with each other because of, of different pressures, but they loved it because they got to meet somebody who they actually were very close, but they don't know that they have very similar things in common.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So while you're working with the teens, have you found that you have natural talents that have helped you relate to the teenagers? Like some of the God-given gifts that were just came to you easily?
I think I have an ability to teach. Um, yes, I really truly focus myself into making sure that it's not just a lecture, but I make sure that they understand the message. So um, many people, when they come, some mothers come to help just to watch and to make sure that there is, discipline in the class, and they can really understand how I can handle it sometimes. But I never lose patience. I love it. It's something that I enjoy doing it, and I make sure that I use different tactics to get to the point without losing any patience at all.
I'm sure they feel that. And I love that you're not just checking a box like, okay, these are the things that they need to learn this year, but rather it sounds like you're engaging with them so that they can understand.
Correct. I can emphasize with them so much. I can feel like one of them.
Mm,
So, I really, it's a way for me to understand them better.
mhm,
Empathy.
mhm. Now, having your own teens, has that helped you as well? Kind of stay current with where they are?
Oh, yes, definitely. It was when Roberto and Martin were 15 and 16, we had a ministry in a church, and we had to lead it, and they loved it. And so we were constantly very close to church. So yeah, that helped a lot to deal with the situation now.
Hmm.
And being a being a parent is amazing because um, you can correct things that you maybe have done wrong with your teens, with these other teens, and the way you thought you were supposed to teach them, and you learn as well from them. They're just amazing. How much you can learn from a teen. Mariana, for instance, she's always giving me her point of view, and telling me what she thinks on her eyes, on the way she sees things, and that helps a lot. It opens my eyes as well.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it takes a special sort of humility to understand that even as adults, we don't know it all. And like you said, there's so much to learn from them. That's a great perspective. So, have there been skills that you've had to learn to help you, that challenges that you've maybe run into as you're teaching them that
Well,
maybe
like
you,
I mentioned you before, I truly believe that God gave me the ability to explain things.
Mhm,
Um, like I said, success is not just in delivering a lecture, like you mentioned, or making sure, well, I mean, making sure that people are paying attention, but above all, is ensuring that they understand the message. And I
mhm,
think I was born with that skill
mhm.
because I make sure that, that I got the message uh, delivered, and I have a feedback.
Well, and you said that you have some mothers that come in and help you with the discipline. That having that kind of help, I'm sure, would be helpful if that's a challenge, which having worked with teens myself, I can
Actually,
say that.
my intention with that is to invite the mothers, um, for them to listen as well. And
Mhm.
it's a way for me to share the word of God to them. And when they come at the end, before we do the final prayer, I call them to the front. And their kids, they have to say something to them in front of everybody. And it became like a routine that, they have to tell their mothers how much they love them and everything they're feeling for them, and that's nothing that they should be ashamed of. And kids, they love it. They love that, and they wait for the mothers to come, and because peer pressure is very hard everywhere in the world, and when you take your kid to your school, sometimes they just don't even say hi, bye, and they just leave. They don't want to give you a kiss. In Bolivia, we have this culture that we kiss each other on the cheeks before and after we meet. And this was getting lost. But now we have like um, challenge to each kid that when they get to school or before they leave their home, they have to give the keys to their parents. And we have a group, a WhatsApp group, where they have to report the mission accomplished. So they write mission accomplished. So that's
That's great.
another thing that I use to take advantage of the WhatsApp to not to just to see them on Mondays, but I keep contact with them almost every day sorry about that, to almost every day to connect with them, like send them a prayer, a small movie. I work with points. So on the confirmation, I actually give 12 trophies to the ones that got the highest points of the preparation. So, I do different challenges to get points, and they love it. So once they get all these missions accomplished, they start getting points. Or once they watch a video, they get points. There
That's
are
great.
missions that are, encourage them to be good people.
Yes. I love what I'm hearing you say too, is that it's not just teaching them the doctrine, but it sounds like you're helping them integrate what they're learning into their life. I mean, if as you're talking about kissing their mother or honoring their mother, that makes it all um, blend together. I love that. And it sounds like the point system is working very well.
Yes,
Bring out their competitive spirit.
that is true.
So I'm curious, having worked with teens, could you answer by now? Like, do you feel that it keeps you young or does it age you? Although it sounds like you seem
Absolutely.
to love it.
Absolutely. It fills me so much with
Oh,
life and energy. Yes, I love it.
that's fantastic. So has there been anything that has surprised you in working with the youth?
Well, like hard questions that they do, you that sometimes I have to rely in a lot of prayer. For example, one time a teenager asked me if vitro fertilization was a sin. Uh, I kept quiet for a few moments, and I told him that the church did not support him. I mean, did not support it. But I also explained that the fact that children are born through this method does not stop him from being a miracle of God. Because I said he allowed just as he allows to leaf a fall from a tree. He looked at me and he opened his eyes and he said, "Then, so I am a miracle." And he looked at his friend and he says, "I'm a miracle." You know, so um,
Great.
I face these questions, um, but I try to respond honestly.
Mhm. Have your kids expressed an interest in working with you? Have you had that opportunity to involve your own family when you're working with these teens?
Yes, I always get involved, get them involved, especially when Martin or Roberto are here in Bolivia. I really ask them to help. Martin is a great musician, so he sings at the retreats, and sometimes he visits as well the classes. Mariana helps me a lot with the other school as well. She's very interested in meeting, the other people from the other school. So, so she comes once in a while, and um, and she's very focused and serious in trying for me to be successful in what I do.
Oh, that's great. I love that they have an interest in that. So you mentioned retreats. What could you tell me about, give me an example, what one of your retreats have been like with the teens there?
Yes, well, we do at least two retreats for each group of confirmation, and They've been amazing. We have a lot of activities and we follow um, some guidance to be successful in the retreats. Actually, we work with an editorial in Virginia with a great writer, and she's a theologist and she prepares these retreats. So we implement them in with the kids, and what God does in there, it's amazing. It's just uh, it's just an amazing experience. And I think that's where we want to develop more our expertise in doing more retreats.
Oh, that's exciting. So does that help the kids stay involved once they've been confirmed? Do you find that they come back to either help with the younger students or just kind of stay in touch?
Well, some of them do. I think there is a challenge to keep these other kids involved because they are mixed with the world after that. And that's why I want to create a program like I was telling you before, the La Poste, which is going to concentrate also in these other kids to be able to do something. What I've seen is uh, in a lower percentage, they get very close to the church. They keep going to the church. They get very motivated, but it's a low percentage because the world really uh, pulls them to the adventure of being a teen in the music, the internet. It's just it's hard. But I think it's a responsibility from all of us that we work in this area, not to abandon them, but to be able to keep working with them.
Oh, for sure. And that is not just in Bolivia. I mean, that is the challenge worldwide, but then also you're planting the seeds, things that they will take with them into their future. And even if, as you know, even if they grow away from that, those would be the things that can sprout later in life as well. So can you explain a little bit about, you said it's, I don't know that I'll say it correctly, La Poste, did you say?
A post. Yeah, well,
Okay.
actually, we're starting a podcast, and
Okay.
and it's in a way to interview teens from a different perspective and to see what are their thoughts about life and how they see spiritually and other things that could be an interesting in other teens to hear. Um, and by doing this, we're giving them a space to talk not only about world issues, but spiritual, and also to share the worries and their thoughts in the real life.
Mhm. That's great. Creating a space for them to be able to um, interact with you and with others and with them, amongst themselves as well. That's a great idea. It's a great idea. And now, is this for after they've been confirmed? So to kind of like keep them a little more engaged?
We actually bring in the current ones and the ones that they finished, and this is going to give them also an activity that is going to be fun for them because being in a podcast for a teen is really an amazing invitation. I just invite Isabella to the podcast on Saturday, and she was so happy, to be elected to come to the podcast. So it makes them um, very happy, and I'm pretty sure that whatever she has to tell us is going to be amazing as well.
Oh, that's great. So it sounds like um, in the talents that you've been given, yet again, you're finding another creative way to use those. You've worked with media in the past and you're bringing it into your work with the teens as well. Was that a natural fit for you, just kind of always thinking in the back of your mind? how you can just the things that interest you, and then in a sense you're building a platform for them. Was that a stretch for you, or that just comes natural for you to kind of come up with these ideas?
For me, it's a challenge because
Okay.
when I did media and television and radio, it was different, different times. And the technology, it's it advanced a lot. So it is a challenge. It's like resuscitating from what I used to do before. And I mean, I hope the Holy Spirit gives me the strength to be able to do this, because I used to do that when I was in my 20s, you know. Actually, I started doing television when I was 15. But yeah, it's a big challenge, and I hope it works.
Hmm. Well, I can't wait to hear all about how it goes. Is this difficult? You have such a busy life with your schools and your youth ministry, and now even looking at other projects and the retreats. How are you able to balance all of this to give yourself some life work balance?
Well, I think I could be doing other things, you know, like playing golf, find some time to do some fun things for me, but I enjoy what I do. And it's a passion to be able to help, especially, you know, young kids. And every encounter with them, it's an amazing experience where you learn um, how beautiful life is. And you can see Jesus in their faces. You know, there are some kids that inspire you a lot, and there are some that are uh, sometimes deaf. They don't want to hear, but that's another challenge, to be able to, you know, uh, to teach them how to pray, to be able to tell them that, you know, that they must love God among everything, you know. And that when you see some sort of results, it's an amazing feeling
Mm.
that, you know, that tells you you're doing something for him.
Oh, that's great. So I know that results are all beautiful in the eyes of the Lord. And I'm sure there's been a spectrum where some are, it takes a little while, then the seed is planted, and as they grow older, it comes out. Have you ever had the opportunity to work with young people and then they discover that maybe they have a vocation to the priesthood or religious life, or just living a life more dedicated to the Lord?
Well, not yet, but I have my hopes, because I know that vocations are affected worldwide. Especially in Bolivia, I have a lot of friends who are priests that I hear that they're concerned about it, that there's a shortage. And yeah, we're working openly to, you know, to tell the kids that if they hear God calling them to serve, that they should do it.
Mhm.
And I do have my hopes that something is going to come out from this. I see a huge difference in one classroom where I have like 4 or 5 male kids, teens that are very compromised to their religion, and it is amazing how concentrated they are uh, in the subject. And I believe there's something there that's going to happen, because their love is very strong, and they're not afraid to tell everybody, which you
Mhm.
don't see it very often. Um, this particular generation is very spiritual. I sense, compared to us, they're very spiritual. They really um, different from what used to be when I was a teenager, and I can feel it. They look for spiritually more than when we used to do it.
Right. No, I would agree with you. I had heard one time that it often, not that it skips a generation, but we're living in, some people have said we're living in a post-Christian world where the culture was really uh, formed by Christians, and the world has moved away from that. And so therefore, with a greater void for the kids, they are searching. They're searching for more meaning. I would, and yes, you're right. I mean, we've had a shortage of vocations here in the United States as well. And yet there are pockets of um, movements of kids that are just on fire and are able to influence their peers, and even the adults that haven't experienced that kind of love for Christ yet, or living for him yet. So I'm happy to hear that you're seeing that as well.
Correct.
Yes. Well, this has been wonderful. I do have a final question for you. So here on the show, we talk with people who are using their talents and doing good, taking action with the areas that they are gifted in. Do you have words of encouragement for somebody that maybe feels in their heart that they're being called to work with youth, or to work with different ministries with youth, but maybe they either don't know how to get started, or they're not, maybe they're a little unsure in their ability? Do you have anything that you might offer them to give them the little nudge that's needed?
Well, I guess my personal experience with my family, um, which is my testimony, I guess. I was born into a Catholic family celebrating Christmas, growing up with our traditions. I was raised to respect our faith. However, my family experienced a very significant rupture when my mother converted into another religion that does not celebrate Christmas, and it tells you the story in a different way. When I moved to the US, I was drawn at the age of 16 to leave the Catholic faith as well. These experiences made me reflect deeply on the negative impact of what it means for a family to be divided in faith. So I think for that perspective, I believe that is our responsibility to take care of our church, whichever it is, that you're born. And one way to do this is to dedicating time to young people, instilling in them a commitment and love for their religion, so they are prepared to face the temptation of living another faith or losing their belief. That's what I think. We have achieved something in life, and it's important to give it back, to what God has done for us. And that for me was very important in order to not to see other families or what happened to mine, where we have different views. And I wouldn't want that from my family, Virginia, my wife, Roberto, Mariana, and Martin. I want us to grow up together, believing and sharing the same faith.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, passing on what you've learned. You're right. There is a responsibility uh, to pass on this knowledge. So thank you for that. Well,
Sure.
Roberto, this has been just a gift to have you on here sharing with us. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Thank you, Susan. It was great for me.
Oh, and to our audience, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We don't take that lightly. This is just an honor to have you here. We do hope that not only will you learn from Roberto, but also that you would maybe feel a little bit of that responsibility inside yourself for the gifts that you've been given, the talents that maybe come naturally to you, or even that you've worked hard to gain, that you would find some way to put those into action. The world really does need what you've been given. So thank you for this time. If this is your first time joining us, we would be so appreciative if you would subscribe and like, and maybe share this with another that you feel that would find this helpful. And if you're listening and you have a talent, whether we've discussed it or not, it's always different when different people are using their talents, would you please reach out to us? Let me know. I'd love to have you on the show. So thank you again. This has been wonderful, and can't wait to join you next time.